You've reached the voicemail box of Lieutenant Jared Kinsman with Fort Collins Police Professional Standards Unit. I'm either on the phone or away from my desk. If you please leave me a message, I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Kinsman, it's me again, William. Just trying to finish up a 2 for 2 here. Try to keep it brief. So, just to recap, Occupy Jefferson, basically, Giddings, how would I put this? He invented the idea of 2 leases for that area so that he could not look bad answering my question of the green area that was not inside the red area. They had already established that the railroad company had leased out the property to the city, and that was their story a long time ago. It's never been brought up ever before that there were ever 2 leases, that there ever needed to be a separate lease for the city to lease out its own property to itself. And so that's why I figured that was a pretty damning statement that he made on the stand there, to say that there's 2 leases, that Fort Collins needs its own lease for its own strip of land, just for it. When obviously you guys can, the city can just make parks and they don't have to lease things out just because some other company's leasing alongside them or something like that. I doubt Roland Moore Park is leased, things like that. So this being historically the only park that's been leased by a private entity, everyone kind of knew that story, that fourth quarter custom going around. And so naturally, when a park is leased out by the railroad company property, one could imagine that red line in the map would lead them to believe that either that red line is incorrect or that that's the only leased area. And so for him to actively deny or basically go against real estate law, lease law, everything that they had claimed up to that point, they had to say that there was this little area that was outside the red, and they basically had to say that there were 2 leases. And so him saying that there is 2 leases in the stand for my case, 15M2608, that was an actual fabrication. That was an actual lie. It was a perjured statement on the stand with no other purpose than to shut me up so that the jury wouldn't start looking the other way, that he didn't finish his investigation and so forth. So I really just want to make that absolutely paramountly clear. You have something to go off of now. There's 2 leases that he alleged in my trial, and if you go down to the real estate department, you can see the real lease. And once you see that too, you can also see that it doesn't go curb to curb, and that obviously the Parks Department is not the official source for boundaries, so that's another lie, and so forth. So that's just a really stickler. That's one that, I got wrongfully convicted of that, and just because of a bunch of hearsay. If you actually go through the trial, it's really disturbing. So, but nevertheless, what really gets me is that he used one of the comments I was making during the Occupy Jefferson protest, decided to talk to Mike West, and so this is kind of what leads us into the attempted influence charge. And so, real quick, I can go over all the details of that one, about what happened each event in South Gold Park, in Lee Martinez Park, and then later on in Lee Martinez Park again. It's very basic. I had always tried to citizens arrest him over a harassment issue that happened in South Gold Park. I don't try to citizens arrest rangers over tickets or try to stop them writing tickets, so forth and so on. And so, yeah, if anything, we ask for tickets. We need the due process. We like the due process. We like to see what people write down, stuff like that. But ultimately, what we're trying to report to you, what I tried to report to Murphy, was the most dead simple felony I've ever seen in my entire life. When Mike West was putting together his little statements that Giddings had requested for his investigation, this was happening around September of 2015. So I think September 28th is when the document was sent. It's in my discovery for 15CR176. Basically, the actual document that Mike West sent to Giddings stated that I tried to citizens arrest him over tickets, that I started talking about some human trafficking, and that I turned to him and told him to quit his job or lose his life, and that when he asked me about it, that I didn't have much to say. Those 5 facts that he's alleging, or so, are 100% not the same as what happened in the audio. Literally, never tried to citizen arrest over tickets. The audio is very clear on all of that. When he asked me what I meant by that, I had a very long, drawn-out answer. Bureaucratically, you're being charged with all this crap in court and stuff because we're building a complaint against you. And so I got framed because Giddings lost his shit, we call it. And basically, you guys thought that you could start trumping up actual elements for unrelated previous crimes that you didn't think they were crimes at the time. I just made some comments. It was political hyperbole. We got our tickets.
You're approaching the maximum length for a recording. Finish your recording after the tone.
Anyways, we got our tickets without issue, and we had no idea that someone was building this fake case behind us. So if you actually look at the statement from Mike West to Giddings, it's an actual attempting to influence charge through deceit with the attempt to change his outcome. That's another crime we're trying to report to you. One more voicemail.
The maximum length for a recording. To send this message, press pound or hang up. To mark it urgent, your message has been sent.